Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. As ever, you can find me over on Instagram at the House of Langford and at Overall Sews. I'm also on Ravelry at madxstitcher. There is a Facebook page at the House of Langford. There is a Facebook group, House of Langford Wear It, Share It, and there is a Ko-fi account linked to this channel. I've actually done it all in one go. Right, so it is the 2nd of January and I have been procrastinating all day about doing this podcast and getting it filmed for you. I think because there's a few other files on my phone that I need to get off and actually edit and upload as well. So I've got a lot of editing to do. And this is my little podcast, my little slice of the internet. It is a monthly roundup of everything I do the previous month. So we're going to talk about what I got up to in December of 2022. We're now in 2023 though. I mean, I feel like I've missed most of December though, because I've not been well for pretty much all of it. I came down with a cough, I think around the 11th of December, so the day after my birthday, and just couldn't get rid of it. See? I have been vlogging over December as well, although I feel like it's a bit lackluster. Do let me know what you think about Vlogmas. Mainly because I was really feeling rough and trying to wind down at work, because I start a new job in 2 days' time and had to try and finish work before Christmas, with like all my files on the system, all my files on my system, making sure stuff was finished, marked, put away, whatever. So, and then I had all of my stuff as well. So it's been a bit of a crazy month in that respect. And I decided to throw in learn how to knit socks as well, because of course you do. Yeah, so it's been a bit of a crazy one. Yeah, so we're going to go through my finishes, my whips and acquisitions for December. Stuff that I got on my birthday I won't go through again because that's already on Vlogmas Day 10. And yeah, I'm now really tired. It is 3:10 and I actually need to go to the shopping centre. So I live next to Lakeside Shopping Centre in Thurrock, and I need to go and pick up my new glasses. I've got 3 new pairs of glasses and I can't wait to start wearing them. So I need to pick those up, and then I was going to try and pop in Primark. I'm going to see how busy it is first though, because it gets really busy, and I need to... There's something else I need to... Oh, I need to go and find a new calendar. I have a calendar every year in my kitchen that I write all of the dates of like things that are going on, or events that are happening, or things that we need to be doing, and appointments. Everything goes on that one calendar and it sits in the kitchen. I don't have one yet. I did send my husband out to try and find one, and he sent me pictures and I was like, I'm really not feeling it, so I'll just go myself. So I need to try and do that today as well. I usually get one from the works. However, I've had like... So for 2022, we had one that was like positive well-being stuff and tips and things like that. But I wasn't really engaged with it. And the previous year, I just had like affirmations or inspiring images with quotes on. And prior to that, we've just had like pretty pictures and stuff. And I want something a little bit different, but I don't know what. I think I've even had pandas before. Now, I do get a calendar every year with, I think it's Simply Crochet magazine. But that sits in my living room. And the reason it stays in the living room is because it's got patterns in it. And I don't want it ruined, because it's just like a cardstock one. It's not... glossy or anything, so there's no coating on it to protect it like there are on the ones I normally get for the kitchen. So they stay in the living room. And I seem to have waffled quite a lot about calendars. Anyway, let's crack on, shall we? You'll notice I'm in a different spot. For the moment, we had to, I moved all the furniture around in the living room. I swapped the dining table for the sofa because the sofa used to sit in front of the radiator. Now, obviously it's been very cold this winter, so I moved the furniture so we could actually use the radiator, and we've been using it to put the clothing rack, the clothing airer, in front of it so we can actually dry clothes quicker, because otherwise they take forever. I have, however, convinced my husband to get one of those heated airers, but he says it's got to live in my studio space, which is full. So he's asked me to clear the studio space before he'll buy me a heated airer. If you've seen the studio space, you'll know that that's quite an impossible task. So, I mean, yes, it's always my mission to try and get stuff out of there, but it's a gradual process. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. So, I might just go buy one. Anyway, let's actually get on with what you've come here for. So yes, my main hobbies are crochet. In the past, I have made jewellery as well. I still have all my jewellery equipment and materials, so they might pop up at some point. Most of my jewellery will go onto my website this year, which is thehouseoflangford.co.uk. And I say this every year that I'm going to get to grips with my website and get my stock up, and it never happens. So I need to go through it, see what's already sold at fairs and remove those listings, and then just spend a day or a weekend just photographing stuff. But the process is quite long. So anyway, I need to try and do some of that at some point. You're welcome to go have a look. What I would like to try and do though is start adding some of my crochet projects on there, because I've now got a box of crochet pieces that I don't actually need. So I've put them in a box so I can get them photographed and get those uploaded as well. And I think that concludes my rambling and admin stuff. So we're going to try and do this before I lose the daylight, because there's not much light where I currently am sat. My living room light is not very bright. It's more of like an orange glow. It makes me look a bit weird. Anyway, let's dive in, shall we? So my plans for December were not big and grand. I think I needed to finish off a couple of bits for a workshop I was doing, a crochet workshop I was teaching, and then I wanted to work on the advent blanket that came with my Crochet Society advent. So that is what I've been doing, and not much else, unfortunately. Oh, the other thing I wanted to do was obviously learn to knit socks. Finishes then. I finished the 2 things I was working on for my workshop, and they went down a treat. So I have a granny stitch bauble. So I used red lipstick yarn from Stylecraft. There is white from the Stylecraft as well. The green is actually King Cole Glitz DK. The brown is gingerbread Stylecraft special DK. And I really like the fact I've joined it with the red yarn, because it reminds me of a little candy cane going around it. Now inside is actually a fake snowball. So it's solid, because granny stitch creates holes. So if you put stuffing in it, the stuffing's going to come out. So I used fake snowballs, and I think it works really well. It's not quite round, I'll admit, but it works just as well. I mean, you could attach this around a plastic bauble and that would still work as well, or a polystyrene ball. But we had the fake snowballs from last year, so we thought we would try and do something different with them. Hence a granny stitch bauble, and I really enjoyed making this. It didn't take very long at all. and I think it looks quite nice. So that went down a nice treat. The other thing I did was finish putting together the snowman that I was working on, which I showed you all the pieces for last month. But this is it actually put together. He has also, these have also appeared on Vlogmas for December 2. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I need to put a tassel or fringing of some sort on the end here. But yeah. So these patterns are not yet on Ravelry, but the other Christmas decorations that I made for the workshops are, there are 2 listings. I have one for the Christmas decorations and I have one for the beret pattern that I made back in 2021 for the Midnight Diary cozy boxes. So I'm hoping to have a go at changing it up a little bit for the beret pattern. And I have a second beret pattern that I've done, but I need to actually finish writing up and get it tested. And then that will also go up. So there will be 2 beret patterns, the set of Christmas decorations, and I will be releasing the snowman as well. Although I don't know when to release him because it's January now. Do I release him now or wait till July for Christmas in July, or do I release him closer to Christmas when I've forgotten about him? Let me know. But he will be written up and added at some point as well. So next up on my finishes then, we made most of the pieces for this. Oh, I don't know when. The box is from Crochet Society box 36, which is the Fun of the Fair box. And I made everything but his little candy floss and his arms prior to December. I've stitched him all together, added in his facial features and made his arms and his candy floss in December. And I now have a finished lion. He is so cute. Yeah, so at the moment his candy floss does come out. I've just poked it in there just so I could take a picture of him holding it. It's meant to have like, it's meant to look fluffy, but I don't own a pet brush because I don't own any pets. So I know I've got some roving though. I've got this left over, and actually the end bit is pink, so I might try and pull that apart and attach that so it looks like real candy floss. We'll see. But yes, he is a Crochet Society. He is from Curious Papaya and he's just so cute. The yarn is the Confection DK from Bella Coco, and it's a really dense a really dense yarn, and you use a 2mm hook. Working with a 2mm is hard work. I thought a 2.5 was hard work when I've been doing the little mini Shepherds kits from Hardycraft, but 2mm is really hard on your hands. I mean, it's tiny. Look. It's tiny. So, yeah. He is quite small, but he is rather cute. It's like a little circus lion. I found him a little bit fiddly to put together. I won't lie. I feel like bits of him could have been put together before other stuff, but anyway, yeah. So I finished Lex the lion, and I still have yarn left over from this box, and I don't know what to do with it. I don't think there's enough left to make the final piece in the final pattern, which is a wall hanging, but I don't even know if there's enough to make another one of him either. So I'll have to have a look. But yeah, I rather like him. He's really cute. And I have posted him on Instagram as well. But yeah, Lex the lion. Now, I was on a bit of a finishing spree towards the very end of December. So betwixtmas, I was on a finishing spree. So yes, I finished off the lion. And then I was like, what else can I do? I actually got out all my whips, with the exception, I think, now of 2, because in my head I'm like, well, I know I've got 2 more somewhere, but I haven't been able to find them. So, but I also had promised that I would make a couple of bits for my brother-in-law and his fiance. So I set about making those instead. Now I got quite a hoard of yummy yarn from the Little Yarn Hut, which is my local yarn shop, which I help out at, and decided that I would sit around and make the gifts that I had promised for my brother-in-law and his girlfriend. And this pattern is called Baby Axolotl Warrior. It is by Tanya Lee, who is Mini Gurumi. This is from her Etsy shop, well, the pattern is on Etsy and Ravelry. I think I got it on Ravelry because it was something like £1.50. So I will admit, one of these was made in 2022. One of them was made in 2023. Well, not really. I'll explain. So this one was made in 2022. It took about 2 hours to make all the parts, and then I think I finished him in 2 hours from start to finish. So he's made in mint green for the body, and his little frilly gill bits are made in turquoise yummy, which is a new colourway, and I think it's really cute. So, but I needed to make 2, so I have the mint one, which was finished in 2022, and then I have a purple one. Aren't they cute? So the purple one is made in lilac for the purple, and then the pink is the sugar pink, which again is a new colourway, and I think they're really sweet. Now I made all the pieces for the purple one on New Year's Eve. Everything was made on New Year's Eve. His body was stuffed. All I needed to do was attach the legs, the gills, and his tail, and sew on his mouth. And I did that New Year's Day. So I'm calling it a finish for December and 2022. Am I cheating? I don't know, but I really like them. So yes, the pattern is really easy. I mean, I made one in 2 hours, but that was when I was just trying to do the pattern. This one took a lot less time, and I'm really pleased with them, and I really hope that my brother-in-law and his girlfriend like them as well. I have suggested to them that I make them an axolotl army because I have all these colours now of yummy. So yeah, I've used King Cole Yummy, which is a chenille based yarn, so they're nice and soft and squidgy. I think I overstuffed the purple one. He's a lot denser than the green one, but oh well. Yeah, so that is the last of my finishes for December. It's not an awful lot, is it? But I have been working on a blanket project for pretty much the whole month, and I was ill. Right, so we're moving into whips then. I have, I think, 2 whips. Now I can't remember if I have worked on this scarf at all this month. You will have seen it in November. I started a Grinch scarf just in C2C. And I don't actually think I've added anything else to it. There's nothing more to say on it, really. Because I still need to just keep going with the red and then add some facial features to it. So that's still living in my I do what I want bag, and I don't think I've touched on it, so I'm not going to go into any more detail. I did mention that in November, so you can head back there to have a look at that one. Next up, I have been trying to learn how to knit socks. So I picked up a new bag from the little grey girl. Jem had a stand at the yarn dispensary for their Love Local event, which coincided with the Christmas market in town. So I picked this up then, and at the same time I picked up It's a DPN holder, but I'm using it to hold my circular knitting needles. This is from Paul Martin Creations. And it's all hand woven. And I love it. So, I have been learning to knit socks. Now, as I mentioned briefly earlier, all I have done is the rib. But I think I'm knitting these inside out, or that's what they're supposed to look like, because the inside is a lot nicer than the outside because it's twisted rib. Now, what we think is that I have achieved twisted rib accidentally. I don't know. But yes, I prefer the inside to the outside. But I am now on to, my phone does not want to focus at all, does it? So I am now onto the round and round. What I did is I started going to, I attended Sock Society at the Yarn Dispensary because they were doing a 3-week workshop on helping people with knitting socks. And I believe the idea was that you were meant to do the rib in 1 week, then go back the next week to do the heel, and then knit enough that you could do the toe in the 3rd week. I actually missed the middle session because I was coming down with this cough, and it's a lot better now, but it was horrible when it started. So I have, because I've been working as well, I have not actually had much time to knit. I have completed the rib, so that's 15 rounds of rib. At least I think it's 15 rounds of rib. I've taken a picture so that I can match the next, the other one of this pair to the same amount. And I have started on the just round and round knitting. Now, what I aim to do is just continue knitting all the way around and get enough done so that I'm down the leg portion and I'm ready to do the heel. And then I can go back to Sock Society and get some help with doing the heel. And then again, then continue to knit round and round for the foot. And again, go back for the toe. At least that's the plan. Yes, so not an awful lot on there, but it is progress. It is more than what I had at the beginning of the month, which was nothing. So I mean, I'm pleased with it. I'm pleased that I'm trying something new. I'm not very confident with my knitting, even though all of my friends on Zoom keep telling me that I'm absolutely fine. Yeah, so that is my sock knitting whip. Now, I am using West Yorkshire Spinners in the gingerbread colourway, signature 4-ply, which is their colourway for 2022 Christmas. And I really like it. The reason I picked this one in the end was because Julia, who is Sparkle Julia on Instagram, was knitting some cows and had knit this up using her knitting machine, and I really liked how the stripes worked. So I wanted to have a go at this. And I also bought candy cane, which is in here. So I can do one in just red, white and green. Which I quite like as well. So I have plans to knit a few pairs of socks. This cake also in here, which is Fiberpunk's 3 Cheers for 7 Years, which was a birthday colourway for the Yarn Dispensary, is what I originally bought it so that I could make socks with it. And that is still the plan. So whilst I'm practicing with the West Yorkshire Spinners, I can get it wrong here and correct it before I move into this one, because I don't want to keep pulling that back if I can help it. I'm not very good at pulling my knitting back, because once I start pulling back, I pull the whole lot back, which is really scary. Which is why I don't knit very often. So the fact that I can just knit round and round and round is really helpful, because I can't really go wrong with that. The pattern we are using is by Gemma of the Midnight Diary. She is the manager of the Yarn Dispensary. It is her sock formula or recipe. And I am using Knit Pro Zings 2.5mm on an 80 centimeter cable. So I'm using the magic loop method. I think that's everything I need to tell you about socks. So the light is starting to go. So we're going to try and get through this. So next up I have the crochet advent blanket. Now I really wanted to finish this before the new year. However, I've had an issue with blocking the squares. And the issue I'm having is that they are not drying quick enough. So I blocked the first 8 squares at home, and they were still damp 2 days later. So I took them to my local yarn shop because I was helping out with stock take, and we managed to get them dry, took them off, and then put the next 8 on. They were still damp when I left, so they took another day or so to dry at home, and I have only put those first 16 together because I'm still waiting for the last 8 to dry. So each day throughout December, or throughout Advent, we opened a drawer and were given a ball of yarn. I've still got some left over. So we were given a ball of confection DK, all in different colours, all linked to, all the names are based on foods or sweet things. So we have 25 balls of yarn, and they're all 33 grams each. In addition to that, some of the drawers had extra gifts in them, and we had a pattern every day. So each square is a different pattern for each day, using the colours that we got in the box. Now I have managed to attach the first 16 squares using the slip stitch method that I like to do. So I'm now waiting for the last 8 to dry. Let's see if we can show you those ones, so that I can put the last 8 together and then stitch the other direction together. So I have 16 at the moment. It's not very easy to hold it up either. So I'm currently 4x4. And it needs to be 4x6. And it's kind of like a, what's the word I'm looking for? A graduation of colour. So it goes from light to dark and then light to dark again through each of the colourways that we've got. So we've got some creams, pinks, and then that red. And then we've got some different blues and grey. And then the last ones are more like biscuity colour, like the eclair I showed you a second ago. So I wanted it finished before 2023, but obviously that's not the case, and it will be finished this week at least. So that will be technically my first finish of the year, because I'm not counting the axolotl as my first finish of the year. Yeah, right. So whilst I'm losing the light, and I'm a bit trapped, so I can't actually turn on the main light. I'm going to quickly run through some of my acquisitions for this year. Now there is one box here that I haven't actually opened. I've literally just cut the seal on the box. I was going to open it Christmas Eve, and then time just got away from us and I didn't end up doing it. So I don't actually have a lot, which is really restrained for me, but I'm hoping it means bigger things to come. So, and that I'm going to be a bit more controlled with my money. So first up I have the Perth Collab Club yarn, which is from Aphis Yarns this for December. Now I've just had to reskein them. They are still damp. Now I've had them, they've been here for about, I want to say about a week, maybe. When were they posted? 22nd. So I've only had these a few days. Now, the last colourway, this was from the Musical Hit Parade for the Collab Club. This is Wham! Last Christmas on DK. I've just re-skeined it or retwisted it because one of them had fallen apart in the bag. They are still damp though, so I need to lay them somewhere so they can dry, or hang them up so they can dry a bit better. This one, the colours look completely different to this one, but I think it's just the way that the skein is twisted up. So yes, all the colours are based on the album cover for this particular band. So Last Christmas by Wham. That's the colour. It's by Aphis Yarns, who is a small independent yarn dyer up in Scotland, by the name of Laura. And I'm really looking forward to working these up. I did have to check. I was like, did I really buy two? And I did, because I love the colours. So yeah, I'm going to put those into something nice and special. I have 2 skeins of that. The other bits I've got are all from Siobhan's Crafts, because we know that I love Siobhan's Crafts. So I got the Care Bear, the last Care Bear for 2022 was Share Bear, which is all purple. So this is Share Bear here. Now you will have seen actually in 2020 or 2021, I had a cross stitch of Share Bear. Have I finished that one? I don't think I finished it. I'm going to have to dig that out now. I do have a cross stitch of Share Bear, so I'm going to have to finish that. So these are the stitch markers for this month. We've got a little lollipop this time, and the usual round one that matches the bag. And then we have our yarn, which is purple. And we've got the pinks and blues that represent the little sweet lollipops on Share Bear's tummy. Now, Siobhan is carrying on with the Care Bear theme for 2023. However, these are the original bears, and she's doing 2023 as the new version bears, and I'm not really keen on them. I like the colours, but I'm not keen on those Care Bears. And I've set myself a yarn ban, so that I'm only really allowed to buy yarn at events, or if it's something really special. And purely because I need to try and save myself some money. My new job allows me to save money in petrol because I am not travelling as far. However, I need to get out of this flat. That is our main aim for this year, is to get out of this flat. So I am sticking to it. It's really hard. I almost signed up to something yesterday. It's really hard. But yeah, so that was the Care Bear subscription box. And at the same time, I ordered 2 other skeins of yarn, because I think they were like last ones, or she may have had a sale going on. I can't actually remember. So I have Scattered Light, which is mainly black tones in it, with random colours in there, like a colour spectrum that you get from crystals and stuff when you shine light through them. I'm probably jabbering on about rubbish. So I've got it in DK, 100 grams, 225 meters. It is 75/25, so superwash merino and nylon. And the reason I got this one is because I quite like the idea of putting this one with the Care Bears. And that idea has just popped into my head. Mainly because they're all similar. Like, they've all got one colour running through them with the speckles of different colours. So I think that one will work quite nicely as a sort of rainbow. And the other one I got is called Beach Party. Now, I think this one... No, that's a different... Ignore that. I just liked all the colours in this one. So it's dark blue at one end. You've got the lovely colours of turquoise running through the middle. And then you've got these really big pops of colour at the end, which I love. And I think it's a bit neon. So it may even show up on ultraviolet light, which is really fun. So I also got those 2 as well. I'm going to pop the light on for this last bit. So apologies for the colour change, just because I am running out of light. Right, so light is on. I have one more box to show you. I haven't opened it yet. Now, what I bought was, this was actually bought in November. It was shipped out at the end of November and must have arrived middle of December sometime, because I think it got caught up in some of the delays with the Royal Mail. Now this is a luxury Christmas hamper from Siobhan's Crafts. And like I said, I had planned to open it on Christmas Eve, but that just didn't happen. So I'm going to open it with you guys. Okay, so we have the usual postcard that comes with all our orders to say thank you. There is a candy cane that's got loose in the box. We've got tissue paper, bubble wrap stuff. Oh, it's in a little basket. I didn't realise we got the basket as well. Right, this box is going over there. Now, apologies, there is clear plastic on it, so I'm going to unwrap the clear plastic so you guys don't have to hear the rustling. And then we're going to go through what's inside. It's even got like a little, it's actually tied up with a little bow. Oh look, you can see what's inside. So I'm going to get this open. Okay, I've opened it up, I've put the plastic away, so hopefully it won't crinkle. So let's have a look at what's in this beautiful basket. It's a rose gold, and I think I'm going to need to use this to store some yarn now because it's really pretty. Yeah. Or I could put finished makes in it. I don't know, but it needs to be used for something special. I'm definitely not taking it to work because I think it would just get wrecked at work. So let's have a look at what's inside. So we have our gorgeous skein of yarn, which is called Merry Christmas. I've got it on DK. So again, 100 grams, 225 meters, 75/25 superwash merino and nylon base. That is just really pretty. Hence why it's supposed to be my Christmas Eve cast on, and I didn't end up opening it, so I've saved it. We also have a pom-pom. Pom-pom. This is from the Crafty Bird. It's lovely auburn. It's really not showing up very well. It's showing up brown on the screen, but actually it's like a very deep mahogany. But it's got like a red, it's more of a red colour than brown. So actually that would make a really fun hat. I might just have to design a hat for it. Yeah. Actually, I've seen one that's like twisted. Might have to do that. All decisions. There is also a gorgeous candle that smells of gingerbread. That's all I can smell. It smells of gingerbread. It's from Wickford and Co. Burns up to 35 hours. So I may have to burn that at some point and pop that back in the basket for a second. There is another candy cane. Oh, there's scissors in here as well. So many pretties. So many pretties. So we have, I think these are meant to be, I don't know what these are for. You may have to tell me. So I'm assuming you like wrap the yarn around this end and write the details about the yarn here. I don't know. Let me know if you know what they're for. I may have to see if, I don't think the listing will be up still. I should have screenshotted what was in it, but there we go. So we have those. And they're on this little ring which pulls apart so you can add and remove, which is handy, or clip it onto something. We then have a wooden yarn bowl, which is just so pretty. I love the feel of the wood. So it's got a nice sturdy base at the bottom. We have some blocking pins, because you can never have too many blocking pins. There's a pair of stalk scissors for snipping off the ends. there is a row counter, and it's one of those little ones. I think you can clip it to your finger, so you can use it as you're working. There is a tape measure. I've got it upside down, which says yarn rules on one side, and on the other side there is a sheepy or llama, I think it's a llama, with a yarn crown. And it's a button one, even better. There is a little tag, leather tag, which says handmade, and there is a yarn ball on it with a crochet hook in it. So I think I'm definitely going to make a hat with this yarn and put the little tag on the side like they do. And there are a couple of other little tags as well. So these are little round ones that say handmade. So they're embossed. That one's very clear. This one's not so clear, look. But they're really sweet. And then there is a little tin of stitch markers. Now I've got a feeling I'm going to have to take a picture of these and that they're not going to show up very well on the screen. They look like they are made with clay. Possibly plastic, I don't know. So there is a snowflake. There is a reindeer. There's a little Christmas star with a Santa hat. A polar bear with a hat and scarf. There is a Christmas tree with a Santa hat. A Christmas wreath. And finally another polar bear, but this one is wearing a Christmas jumper. So yeah, I'm gonna take a picture of those because they are just adorable. And that's everything in my hamper, and of course the wire basket as well. I didn't realise it came with the basket, but that is like a brilliant idea. So I am most definitely making a hat with this yarn. I now just need to go and find one. I think I might do the swirly one that I mentioned, just because that's what's in my head, and hopefully that shouldn't take me too long because it is crochet. So I'm going to take some pictures and pop them at the end. So there's not really much else to say for December. Let me just pop all this back together. Okay, so moving forward then, like I said, I start a new job in a couple of days' time on Wednesday, and it's 10 minutes down the road, which means I save myself nearly 2 hours of travelling a day, which in turn is pretty much a full tank of fuel. So I'm really looking forward to not having to drive so far to get to and from work. And the fact that I can actually be home at a sensible time as well, which I'm really looking forward to. It means I can try and get on with like fixing up the flat and fixing things, or keeping things tidy, or just sorting stuff out, or even just making more stuff. Yeah, so let me just get comfy again. There's a lot of change this year. My plans moving forward then include the fact that I have now written a list of my whips which predate 2023, and I want to try and get the majority of them finished, if not all of them finished. There are 8 blankets. 8 blankets. That's not including the Crochet Society Advent one, because I had wanted that finished, and that will be finished this week, so I'm not counting that as a whip as such, but it will be a finish. In addition to that, I actually have a blanket I need to start because there is a baby due in the family. My cousin is expecting a baby, and I want to make them a blanket. I've made other people in the family blankets, so I feel like I need to make them one, and so I need to start one. But before I start a new blanket, I need to finish one. So I have picked out the 2 blankets that I think I can finish pretty quickly. One is in the Made by Penguins bag, which is the granny square blanket I started in August. And I'm using Cherished Yarn, which is by King Cole, and I'm just doing 2 rounds of each colour and then repeating. And I'm just going to keep going until I run out of yarn. So hopefully that'll be a nice baby size blanket, if not a slightly bigger lap blanket. So that's just granny stitch. Surely I should be able to do that because that's fairly easy. I think that's going to be my go-to project if I am between projects, maybe like something that I don't need to concentrate on. That's my project to go for. So we have that one that I can finish quite, not necessarily quite quickly, but it doesn't take much effort is probably what I'm looking for. The other one I have, which I have actually been working on yesterday, which is why it's not in the whips for December, is the Magic Carpet Throw, which I started on the 20th of January 2022. So I want to get it finished before the 20th of January 2023. I'm halfway through now, the last section of this, before I then have to add the border. So my aim is to try and finish this as soon as possible, because that's 18 rows. That's nothing. 18 rows is nothing when it comes to crochet. So yeah, I'm going to be working on this solidly. This is the only project I'm working on, unless I'm sewing squares together for the advent blanket, because I want that done as well, obviously. So one of these 2 blankets will be finished this week. It just depends which one, in terms of whether all my squares dry. Throughout the day I've been checking it, and the top one has been dry, so I've been taking that one off. I have taken off 3 of the 8, so there are still 5 trying to dry. So every time one dries, I'll take it off, and I'll just keep going, and then once I've got them all off, I can put them in the right order and stitch them together. So yes, this, which is in my Doodle Cats bag, only needs 18 more rows, and then I don't know how many rows the border is because I haven't checked that pattern yet, but I have found that pattern for the border. So yes, this is what I'm working on whilst I am waiting for that blanket to dry. And I think that is pretty much it for January. Those are my aims anyway, to finish those 2 blankets and possibly start the baby blanket I need to do. Other than that, that's it. That's all I got for you. It is now 4 o'clock, which means I need to get myself going and go pick up my glasses and do all the other things that I need to do there. But thank you for joining me for a December roundup. I will do a 2022 review, which I've done for the last couple of years now. So yeah, that's it. That is it. So I am going to head out now. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, if you like this video, please click the like button and the subscribe button, so you get to see more of them, and they'll show up on your feed when I post new ones. Also, last thing, I'm almost at 500 subscribers. I mentioned this back in November as well, but my subscribers have kind of gone up, down throughout December. So I'm looking to do a giveaway prize once we hit 500. And as I checked yesterday, I think I had 491. So not that many more, and we can hold a giveaway. I've already got a few pieces lined up to add to this giveaway bundle. I've ordered some bits from Chiffon's Crafts because we know that's one of my favourite places to shop. And I think I also have a box of mini skeins as well, sock weight minis that I don't think I'm going to use because I don't really use sock weight. So I'm going to add those to the giveaway bundle as well. And I might even throw in a mini axolotl just because. So yes, please do share, like, subscribe, and I'll see you all again soon. Take care. Bye.